Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Today, I'm excited to share with you how I make my seafood lasagna. It is a recipe I keep going back to over and over again because it is so flavorful and so delicious. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel where I bring you all the flavorful videos, recipes, and tips. Come on guys, let's go. First off, I'm going to show you all the ingredients that I normally use for my seafood lasagna. I'm using shrimp and I have about 2 pounds of shrimp and I'm using large shrimp. You can go ahead and get the tiny shrimps. I find that these work beautifully in this recipe, but I just grabbed the jumbo shrimp and I just cut them in half. And I already went ahead and deveined and cleaned them. I also have some lamb crab meat. You do not have to use crab meat in your seafood lasagna, but as you guys know, with me, it's all about flavors. So I like to mix and match. So if you want, you can just go ahead and use your shrimp. You do not need the crab meat and it will be just as delicious. I have a 1/4 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of 1/2 cup, 4 tablespoons of butter, 5 cloves of garlic, some ricotta cheese, 1 egg, and the egg is to go with my ricotta. I'm going to tell you more about that later. Some grated Parmesan, some Old Bay seasoning, and I'm using the garlic and herb Old Bay seasoning. You can go ahead and use any seafood seasonings that you have at home. Some parsley. And of course, we need our lasagna. I have a box of lasagna pasta. And that's it, guys. That's all we are going to need for our seafood lasagna. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and season my shrimp. And I'm not using any salt for my shrimp because the Old Bay seasoning already has salt in there. So I'm going in very generously with my Old Bay seasoning because I will not be using any additional salt for my shrimp. Make sure your shrimp is nice and coated in your Old Bay seasoning. My shrimp is nice and seasoned. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And next, I'm going to work on my ricotta filling. Now I'm just going to crack my egg into my ricotta. Just mix this up, guys. So what the egg does for your ricotta is that it holds your ricotta together so your ricotta doesn't run. And I'm going to add some of my Parmesan. little pepper in there. I'm also going to put a little sprinkle of my Old Bay seasoning. Chopped parsley. And by now, you guys know I'm all about flavor and seasonings, guys. So I'm just adding flavor to my ricotta. Now I'm going to set my ricotta aside. We are going to move to the stove to work on our lasagna and our white sauce. Over here I have a pot with water and I already brought it to a boil. I'm just going to go ahead and add some salt. And I'm going to go ahead and add my lasagna sheets. So in here I have about 12 lasagna sheets. I'm going to bring this to a boil and I just want it to be al dente. I do not want it to cook too much because we have to remember that it's going to go in the oven. While my lasagna is coming to a boil, I'm going to start on my white sauce. Turn my flame on. So for my white sauce, 4 tablespoons of butter. And we are just going to melt that down. Make sure your butter is completely melted. Then we are going to add our flour. And we just want to cook our flour just a little. This is what's going to give us the nice, thick, rich white sauce or bechamel sauce, as some people call it. I just call it white sauce. My half cup of half and half. Go ahead and add another half cup of my half and half. And you can just adjust as you go and as you see fit, guys. That looks better. So if you feel after you add your flour, you need a little more liquid, go ahead and add that. Now I'm going to season my white sauce. Little salt. Pepper. I'm also going to add a little Parmesan to my white sauce. About 2 tablespoons. Just to enhance the flavor, guys. I'm going to give it a taste. We're going to add some more pepper. So that's why you always taste, guys. So you can adjust your flavors as you go. Going to add in some chopped parsley. Flavor, flavor, flavor. That's where it's at. Teaching you all my tips and tricks, guys. I'm doing God's work here. And you guys are so welcome. Give it a taste. Perfect. Much better. I'm going to set this aside. So I've strained out my lasagna sheets and added some cold water. I'm going to set this aside. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on my seafood. Add some butter. And I'm using about a tablespoon of garlic and herb butter and a tablespoon of plain butter. And again, guys, it's just to enhance my flavors. I'm going to go ahead and grate my garlic. And for this recipe, I prefer to grate my garlic rather than chop it. I find that the flavors infuses better when my garlic is grated. And don't be afraid of the garlic. Garlic pairs very well with seafood. I'm going to add my garlic. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my shrimp. And for the shrimp, I'm not adding any liquids in there. The only liquid I need for this seafood lasagna is the white sauce, guys. You do not want your seafood lasagna to be too runny. So please do not add liquids to your shrimp. Just let it cook. It will cook. Shrimp on seafood cooks very quickly. So just let the heat do its thing. And as you can see, our shrimp is turning nice and pink. So it's cooking. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my crab meat. To my crab meat, I'm going to add a little Old Bay. And just mix it all together, guys. It smells so delicious already. And guys, if you do not have crab meat, please do not worry about it. You can just use your shrimp. For this recipe, crab meat is expensive. So please do not go out and buy crab meat just to make this recipe, because I've done it countless of times just using shrimp. And you can use the frozen packaged shrimp in the frozen section in your supermarket or grocery store. I'm making this for lunch, and I had this container of crab meat already in my refrigerator, so I decided to use it for this recipe. And I've also used crawfish tails also with my shrimp for my seafood lasagna. So that's it. Our shrimp is nice and pink. Whichever ones are not fully cooked, when we put it in the oven, it will finish cooking. So don't worry about if it's not cooked thoroughly, guys, because remember, you have to put it in the oven, and you do not want your shrimp to be overcooked. So I'm going to turn off my heat. I'm going to go ahead and add some chopped parsley. Toss that together. That's it. Okay, guys, now to my favorite part, we assemble. So first thing, I'm just going to spread some of my white sauce in the bottom of my dish. Look how beautiful it is. And now we just put down a layer of our lasagna sheets. And I still have my lasagna sheets in my pot with some water, guys, because I do not want it to stick together. So that's a little trick. Just leave it in the water. Going to spread on a layer of my ricotta. And it doesn't have to be an even layer. Now you go in with your seafood. I'm going to sprinkle some Parmesan on top. And this dish is just so rich and comforting. And some chopped basil. And we just repeat the steps. I'm going to go in again with some of my sauce, my white sauce. Ricotta. Parmesan. Basil. And the basil will just add another layer of flavor. You don't have to add the basil, but I love the flavor of basil, so I always add it. And we go in with another layer of our seafood, guys. So easy to make. It's like it's a lot of steps, but it's not, guys. It's very quick. And I go in with the top layer of my lasagna sheets. And now just the remaining of my white sauce. And the remainder of my ricotta. The remainder of my basil. Some Parmesan for the top. Some mozzarella for the top, guys. We'll just give it a nice little crust. Or any other cheese you have. You don't have to do this, but I just like the brown coating that the cheese gives it in the top. So I'm just using a little mozzarella for that. That's it, guys. And into the oven it goes. And here it is, guys. Our seafood lasagna. Okay, guys, let's eat. I hope you guys try this recipe out and let me know in the comment section below how it turned out for you. I promise you guys, it is so good. You are going to love it, and it will be a recipe that you are going to come back to time and again. Until the next video, thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.